Post School Podcast is back. Long time no see, guys. It's been 2.5 years since I left Australia. And in that time, the podcast has admittedly been lacking, but it's been 2.5 years of serious growth and learnings and experiences. And I want to bring it back. So this is episode 1 of the future. And if you're still listening, thanks for sticking around so long. I promise it'll be worth it. If you're new to the podcast and this is the first episode you're discovering, there are over 50 episodes, guest episodes that I've recorded over the last few years with incredible people who are doing incredible things with their lives. And I highly recommend that you go back and listen to all of those. But I want to give you a bit of an idea of what I want this podcast to become and how I want it to be used to help all of you guys and myself, really. So the last 2 years for me have been interesting. I've learnt a lot. I've had a lot of experiences, both good and not so good. And I feel like the depth of the way that I see the world and my understanding of myself has changed so much in that time. And I want to build a place where I can share that with all of you. Not from a sense of, look at me, this is what I've done, but more so from a sense of, this is something I experienced, and I'm sure you've probably experienced something similar. This is how I dealt with that, or what I learnt from it. Maybe you can take away something similar. So that's sort of the premise of everything, and that's what Uncle Nathan has always been about. It's never been learn from me. It's always been learn with me. And so I want to share some of those learnings with all of you so that you can feel like you're not the only one going through your 20s and feeling a bit lost and confused, because to be honest, that's what our 20s is, and that's what I've felt. I mean, I lived my dream. I moved to Bali at 21 years old. That was a life that I dreamt of for so long, and I lived that, and it didn't turn out to be anything like what I thought it would be. And it was incredible in so many ways. Don't get me wrong. It was amazing. But at the same time, there were so many aspects to that life that I realized were never really my dream. They were just things that I thought I wanted based on what society had imprinted on my mind. And these are some of the things that I want to dig deep into so you can get an understanding of who you are as a person and the path that you want to lead for your own life. Because I think at the end of the day, the only thing that we have is a decision to be true to ourselves or true to the fake version of ourselves that we think society wants to see. And the quicker that we can get to that first part, being true to our real self, I think that's the quickest way that we can really be happy and fulfilled in this life. So that's what I plan to do with the podcast, is help you feel empowered to discover what that truth looks like for you and how you can go out and actually achieve that. So to do all of that, I'm still going to have guest episodes. That's still an integral part of the Post School Podcast and Uncle Nathan as a whole. I love talking with people and understanding their stories and sharing it with all of you. But on top of that, I also want to have episodes like this, where it's just you and I having a chat, unfiltered, raw, and honest. It's just solo episodes so that you can get an idea of what my particular outlook on a certain experience or topic might be, and whether you agree or disagree is irrelevant. The whole point is that I want to share some of the things that I've picked up along the way to help you feel less alone and more in control of your own life and your own reaction to certain things that happen. So that's what these conversations are going to be. It's going to be raw and honest, and they're not going to be too long, maybe maximum 30 minutes. I'm going to try and get to the point and keep it succinct. But the point is, I want you to walk away thinking, wow, okay, I didn't realize that someone else actually thought that way about this thing, or that someone else had even experienced something that I was going through and feeling myself. So if I've done that in any of these episodes, that to me is a job well done, and that's what I'm striving for. Now, to give you a bit of context, the last 2.5 years for me have been very interesting. I've done a lot. I've experienced so much of the world and some serious beauty in some of that travel. But at the same time, I've had a great relationship that's also ended. I have raised puppies and they've passed away. I've started writing a book and actually just finished that book. And that the book is of a similar topic and is going to be shared with all of you very soon, hopefully by the end of this year. But the point is, I've experienced some of the highest highs of my life and some of the lowest lows of my life. And it feels like the perfect time to start sharing all of that with you guys. So I'm going to get really specific on topics like dating and sex and experiencing living with a partner and moving out of home. And also down to friendships, moving away from your home country, moving out of your parents' house, selling things that you own and buying new things and setting up a new life, as well as just career and what it's like to work online for 2.5 years, freelancing, building businesses, creating content, and the travel side of things too. What it's like realistically being on the move all the time. Because it's a lot and it looks like the dream, and so many people aspire to travel all the time. But my reality was that I didn't really enjoy it that much. I love seeing parts of the world, but to not have routine and to always be on the search for the next big milestone, the next big country, the next big experience was exhausting. So I want to share all of these things with you guys and get really deep on these topics. Now, to do that, it's not just going to be me talking. Every week on a Monday morning, I'm going to put up a story on the Uncle Nathan Instagram account, and that story is going to have a place for you to put in questions related to the topic of the week. So if you do want to contribute, then just jump onto Instagram at Uncle Nathan Co. and look out for those Monday stories where you can add your questions about certain topics or tell me about topics that you want me to talk about on the pod as well. And then I'll get to those questions when I record the podcast episode every Tuesday. And then hopefully those podcast episodes will be released by Thursday or Friday of the same week. Now, don't quote me on that. I've got a lot going on at the moment, but I'm going to do my best to get these out every single week for you to enjoy. Now, on top of talking about specific topics like moving out, breakups, money, different habits, life in general, purpose, I also want to talk about myself with some life updates and keep you guys in the loop of what I'm up to and how I'm trying to advance this mission in helping as many young people as I can figure out their purpose in life and really live a life that feels true to themselves. That's my current mission, and there are plenty of little sub-strategies on the side of that I'm working on, because at the end of the day, I can't do that without capital, so I need a way to make money as well. And I want to share all of these things that I'm doing with you guys so you can feel up to date, ask questions, or jump in if you feel like you can add value along the journey as well. Now, like I said before, every episode of the solo podcast are going to have a bunch of community questions. So make sure you tune in on Mondays so that you can add your questions in there, and I'll do a special segment at the end of each episode to answer those questions. If you have any topic suggestions, throw them in as well. But the main thing is follow us on Instagram at Uncle Nathan Co. and contribute to those Monday stories so that you can get your questions answered. Now, I also want to note that if there are certain topics where I feel like I'm probably not the best person to talk on it, because at the end of the day, this is all just my experience. I'm not an expert in anything that I'm going to talk about on the pod. None of it is proper advice. In fact, I try not to give any advice at all, because the key theme here is learn with me, not from me. I'm not trying to give you advice. I'm trying to create something that's relatable and helps you feel less alone in the confusion of our 20s. So if there is a topic that comes up that I do need a bit of credibility, then suggest someone for me to bring in, or I'll find someone to bring in that we can talk about this topic in length and really get to the crux of what the issue is and how us as young people can go about navigating the confusion of that specific topic. So it's not always just going to be me. There's going to be guests involved as well. And I'm really looking forward to diving deeper into those specific topics, but also just sharing a bit of the experiences that I've had and helping you feel less alone in the confusion of our 20s. And like I said, I want to keep these episodes really short. So I'm going to wrap this one up. This was more of an introduction, a reignition, if you will, of the podcast to let you guys know what the plan is from here and what you can expect moving forward. Like I said, I've just written a book. So over 50,000 words. It's taken me over a year to write, and it's currently in the publishing process. Now, I'm still not sure if I'm going to go with a proper publisher or if I'm going to publish it myself. That'll depend on whether I hear back from any publishers, but so far I've been ghosted by about 5. So I'll keep you updated on that. But when that book comes out, I'm really excited for you guys to read that. I think it could help a lot of people feel less alone in this period of their life. And again, the goal is just to create something that's relatable so that someone can read it and be like, shit, I feel that too. And I didn't think anyone else was going through it or feeling those things. Because I feel at the moment, the self-help genre is saturated with guys or girls in their 40s talking about their 20s like it was yesterday, but it was 20 years ago. Most of them don't remember what it was truly like to be in their 20s. So I wanted to write something from the point of view of someone still in their 20s, still in the confusion of it all, and share that with you guys so you can feel less alone in that confusion. So when that comes out, I will definitely let you guys know. If you do want to contribute, because there's an open contribution platform at the moment, there'll be a link below these show notes somewhere on my Instagram where you can contribute and pre-save the book and show me that you're interested. Tell me what you want to see in there. So if you do want to do that, I'd be greatly appreciative. But if not, I'll let you know when the book's ready so that you can read along as well. But that's it from me today. So if you are as excited as I am to get the pod going again, share it with a friend. Send this episode to a friend who you think would benefit from something relatable in this period of their lives. It's not meant to be heavy or too advice-based. It's just kind of like a big brother to chat to. I'll be going deep on myself. I'm not holding back in that regard. But it'll just be a really nice way for us to connect, share stories, and get to know each other a little bit better, and also just feel less isolated in this period that feels so confusing. I mean, I'm 24 now, in my mid-20s. I've just moved back from Bali with not a whole lot to my name, not a whole lot of money, no car, no property, none of this. And I want you guys to come along on that journey as I start building myself up again. But also understand that if you're in a similar position, it's okay. Everything's going to work out just fine. So if that's my aim, if you find or know someone similar, please send this to them so that they can tune in as well. And if not, just make sure you're watching for Monday's Instagram story where I will send a questions box for the episode of the week where you can drop all of your questions and I'll make sure I get to them in the episode. So good to see you guys and talk again. It's going to take me a little while to get back into podcasting. I am a bit rusty, but I'm really looking forward to it. So I'll see you guys in the next episode.